Hello and welcome to the CNBC-TV18 special. We continue to come to you live from Davos 2024, and joining me now is the elusive Rishad Premji, who only always sits down with us here in Davos. It's great to have you back for our annual chat.
And I spend quality time with you here, Shereen. When I'm here once a year is more than enough of me, I'm sure, for you as well. So.
Well, you know, Rishad, I remember very clearly when we last spoke here in Davos, you said that you had come in expecting a far more somber mood, and it was uncertain, but not as uncertain as you were expecting it to be. How do you feel about that this time around?
No, you know, I think I said you're going into a somber environment. Look, it's been a tough year. The environment has been uncertain for tech services in general. I think it's been a bit harder for us as well. We have a larger consulting business, a larger discretionary pool. But you know, as I go into 2024, I'm feeling a lot better than I was feeling when I go into 2023. We've come in at the high end of our guidance last quarter, and that was just a reflection of strong in-quarter execution and strong sort of activity from customers during the quarter, typically a slow, quiet December quarter. I look at our consulting business and I look at the order booking from last quarter, and it feels much stronger. So I'm going in with cautious optimism. I don't want to declare...
That is what you said in 2023 as well.
No, but I'm going with, you know, I see some green shoots of things sort of moving perhaps positively. And so I'm looking forward to, I hope, 2024 being a better year than 2023.
In some specific areas, the green shoots that you're seeing?
No, I mean, discretionary spend, which is always always a key indicator of how momentum happens. I see early signs of that. Consulting to me is a great spend, a discretionary spend area, and I see that early signs. And then I'm quite hopeful about, you know, what happens with AI and how the spend there moves, and I'm sure we'll talk about that as well. Because I find one of the things that is changing, Shereen, is last year customers spent a lot of time experimenting, POCing. We must have done somewhere between 80 and 100 POCs. And I think this year, customers are spending a little bit more time about thinking about real business impact as they go into 2024.
I will talk to you about AI and what, of course, Wipro has been doing on that front over the past 2 years, and I know that we spoke about this briefly. But let's address the environment at this point in time. And, you know, when we last spoke, you said that you were feeling excited and confident about the fact that you had a leadership team in place that you believed could deliver the goods. You're still playing catch-up with your peers at this point in time. Of course, you've delivered a good quarter, and the markets have rewarded that as well. How confident do you feel about the ability of this leadership team to deliver the goods today?
No, I feel supremely confident, Shereen. I think we're doing the right things. We're on a journey of change. We have a strong, stable leadership team, and an organization that is transforming and doing different things. You're always going to have some people that come in and out, and so that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't destabilize us, and we're incredibly excited and incredibly strong with the team we have and the team we believe in very, very clearly.
And alignment between the execution strategy of the management as well as the vision of the promoters?
Absolutely. There's full alignment between the journey we're on and the journey we're going on, and
so the report
don't believe otherwise.
The report suggesting that there is misalignment?
All I can tell you, Shereen, is that our CEO and our team has our full support.
Okay, that's good to hear. So Rishad, let's talk about now the road ahead, and you talked about some of the transformative things that have worked for you. What more can we expect on that front? What would you like to see change, or what are you trying to do differently to ensure that the growth momentum picks up from here on?
No, so look, let me talk about the environment. The environment is still uncertain, and there are lots and lots of elements definitely playing out. It's still a fragile economy. I think the US is looking a little bit better. Europe, for me, is still uncertain. So you have a fragile economy. You have 60 countries going into election mode, which creates its own level of uncertainty. You have a geopolitical conflict. You have a war that's still playing out. And then you have this whole element of AI, which I think could be a huge opportunity for growth, but also the clarity on governance and how that plays out. So in the backdrop of this uncertainty, I think there's also opportunities. And the opportunities are clearly in tech spend becoming more and more integral and central to customers recognizing that they need to continue to invest. And so I'm still very hopeful that the areas of cloud, the areas of data and AI, because there is no good AI without solid, structured, safe, secure data, the whole areas of engineering, the whole areas of cybersecurity, are areas where we're investing in, the areas where I feel we are differentiating in, and we've got to execute and deliver as we move into 2024.
But in the near term, and this is on the back of the commentary that I'm picking up from some of your peers as well, is there a sense that the large transformative kind of deals are perhaps going to be on pause for a while longer, while it's more the sort of cost takeout efficiency deals that will continue to drive growth?
I would agree with that, Shereen. I think certainly the focus, if you look at larger deals, is more on consolidation, on cost. But I think there are pockets of spend that perhaps can emerge and will hopefully emerge as we move more and more into the year, on which you can count as arguably discretionary, which I think can create potentially some more momentum as you move into the second half of 2024.
Do you anticipate a situation of a pent-up demand? Is there a general sense of risk aversion, and once that were to abate, if there was to be some sort of certainty on some of these fronts that we spoke of, that you could see the spends pick up?
I don't know, and I don't want to make predictions that are just uncertain. As I said, I am hopeful, and I see early green shoots. And I want to, they're early green shoots, and that's what they are. There's nothing more than that.
Yes, well, you're underlying that
right.
clearly. But let's talk about the generative AI opportunity. And you've been working on this at Wipro for over 2 years now. Which direction do you see yourself taking internally, and what do you believe it's going to do externally in terms of growth for you?
Yeah. So let me talk about it from 3 angles.
Yeah.
One is the investment we are making, Shereen. The other is what we are doing to ourselves as an enterprise, and 3 the opportunities we see externally. One is we've called out formally last year something called AI 360, which is our $1 billion investment over the next 3 years into AI, where we are very purposefully infusing AI in our thinking and everything that we touch, with a very, very strong governance angle overlaying it, right? And it's not going to be sort of buying your way into spending $1 billion. It's going to be very pervasive. One of the big things we're doing is we're training our employee base. We've trained 209,000 of roughly 250,000 people. And, excuse me, we're training them on 101 stuff. So they're not going to become technical experts on AI. Yeah. But what it's doing is it's infusing, by the way, with a very strong governance mindset as well, but it's infusing the thinking of AI across the organization. So an associate, a business analyst that's working on things can think about the opportunities he or she has to leverage AI to do their job better, to be 20% more productive, to have 20% more time to do other things with their time as well. So there's a mindset of leveraging AI all pervasively within the organization.
What are the kinds of questions or asks that clients are asking when we talk about generative AI?
Right. So as I was saying, everything around experience, everything around productivity. Those are the kinds. So let me give you a simple example. A large healthcare customer has come to us and said, look, today we're struggling to provide great customer service to our key customers.
Right.
I'm talking through 8 or 9 or 10 different applications to provide next best action, to provide high quality service. How can I leverage chatbots and generative AI to deliver that stuff more impactfully? A large telecom company has said, look, I have struggled moving data around. Can you generate synthetic data so I can test some of these products that I'm looking to launch? Those kinds of things.
So, what are we talking about? 3 to 5 years before this starts to kick in any meaningful fashion as far as revenue contribution is concerned?
Look, if I knew, then we'd be having a different kind of conversation. But this boat has left the station. Is it going to have a mobile first kind of journey? Is it going to have a cloud kind of journey? I don't know the kind of acceleration that it'll have. Let's also appreciate we're a year into this conversation, right? But I'm very hopeful that customers will look more and more at leveraging this for real business impact faster than we anticipate.
So are you going to continue to invest in building out these capabilities within the organization?
Absolutely. The other thing we will look at seriously is let's find areas where we can completely disrupt for ourselves. Can we do this with no people? Let's experiment in areas, and even if that means that perhaps hurts some revenue in the short term, it creates a use case for what can be in the long term.
Let's address what's happening across industry today. And I want to address the issue of why Wipro's decided to sue Jatin Dalal. I mean, been with the company for decades. Why the decision to do that?
Yeah. So Shereen, I'm not going to get into a specific case, but let me just say the following comments, right? One is we are simply enforcing a standard industry contract that everybody sort of follows. We are not creating any prevention of employment or job opportunity for anybody, right? And we're simply ensuring that, that we've signed a contract, and we want to ensure that we protect ourselves from from an information standpoint along those lines. So I wouldn't read more into this. You know, I find sometimes there's a tendency to sensationalize this.
Well, it's not sensationalizing. It's an unusual thing to happen.
We're simply enforcing contracts, which is not an unstandard thing to do, Shereen.
But you know, we're seeing a fair degree of senior level churn within industry.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of folks here from Infosys who are now heading different corporations out on the promenade as well. What do you make of the way that we're seeing these changes take place across industry?
No, I think it's great opportunities for people. It's a great sign for our industry that organizations are producing talent of the world-class talent, and people are getting opportunities to run world-class companies. So I think it's something we should be proud of as companies and industries.
But you know, given this war for talent, and you know, again, I know there's a lot of speculation around the fact that whether there are no poaching agreements in place formally or informally. I mean, you know, it's against the law. Well, what's the take on that?
No, I didn't follow the question.
You know, that whether there are indications coming in from some companies to the other saying, look, don't go after our people and so on and so forth. I know this is all informal at this point in time, but are those conversations on?
I can't comment on speculation, but look, I think, you know, organizations sign contracts, employees sign contracts, and I think it's important that we respect those contracts and take them seriously. I think that's not an unreasonable request or ask of both the employee as well as the employer.